Coming up on this week's episode of Front End Fire, it is another rough week for JavaScript in security land. TanStack is joining the AI wars, and a massive acquisition happened that we have to talk about. Let's get to it. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Front End Fire, the web development podcast that keeps you up to date on the latest and the greatest in the front end world. I am your host today, Paige Niedringhaus, and I am joined by my co-hosts TJ Van Tol.
Hey everybody.
And Jack Harrington.
Hello there, joining you from sunny Las Vegas with the sphere in the background. So if you want to jump on YouTube, you can see the sphere doing all kinds of hijinks. It's got a little funny face on right now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard not to be distracted by that, honestly.
Yeah, he was drinking coffee before, and that was kind of cute. You know, I was like, oh, I can't drink coffee. Yeah, it's very cute.
Yeah, so we're back after a short break for the Thanksgiving holiday in the U.S., and glad to be back. There's plenty of news to talk about, as always. So let's get right into it. All right. Jack, would you like to start us off with your TanStack news?
Yeah. So, I've been working with a guy named Alum over the past really hardcore of like 5 weeks or so, but we started around the time of ReactConf working on TanStack AI. So it would, shorthand, it would be a competitor with the Versal AI SDK. It gives you a bunch of client libraries. So you can have a vanilla client, you've got a React client built on top of it. Same thing with Solid. We just got PR this morning for Vue, and we got a Svelte PR. So we're handling the front end space for you. And then we have server libraries for TypeScript. So that get you connected to OpenAI, Ollama, Anthropic, and Gemini currently. Got a PR in the works for Bedrock, and then we also have PHP and Python as well. So if you are doing like a Laravel thing and you want to put an assistant on your Laravel page that helps people like pick e-commerce stuff, we actually have a demo for that. And then Fast API, if you want to do a Fast API plus React thing, we've got that. So yeah, we just released. We have at least as of this morning, which is not even 24 hours after the first release. As when we're recording this, you'll hear about it a little bit later. I think 750 stars already on GitHub, so it's going great. Very positive reaction, and getting a lot of PRs from people. It was exactly what we wanted. This is a preview release. We didn't want to hold it too long. We just wanted to get stuff out there, and get positive people coming in and helping us, build a fully, truly open source, not beholden to any vendor or any VC AI SDK that you can use to, build out your applications. And, I think what we've got now is pretty much table stakes. It's, chat, it's summarization, it's embeddings, but it has full agentic flow, full tools, full approval cycle, multimedia, messages, the whole 9 yards. But I think that's really table stakes, like what we're going to do next. Oh, and we've got dev tools, which actually is really cool. But what we're going to do next, I think, is going to be like really, and kind of build on top of it. It's going to be amazing.
So the first thing I always check when there's a new TanStack tool is what color did you get on the website? So it looks like pink.
Like a hot pink.
Yeah, hot pink, which is a good color.
Yeah.
I think my first question is, are there integrations with the other TanStack universe? So why build this under the TanStack umbrella?
Yeah, we're definitely looking at the combination of the kind of big three, I would say. Start, DB, and AI. It's weird that I'm not even putting React Query in there. I mean, I think React Query is fantastic, transport and all that. But I think like in terms of like the app development lifecycle, like syncing data, having AI in the mix, and then having like full SSR and APIs. It gives us some really cool ability to make the best of all three of those things. And yeah, unfortunately, it didn't make the cut for release, but there was a direct start integration where it was like you could create a server function and a tool all with one call and have it all like ready to go. So you could call it off the UI, you could call it out of the AI, and it would do exactly the same thing. That's just kind of like that's kid stuff in comparison to what we're gonna do with like DB, and it's just gonna be amazing. I'm really excited about it.
This is very cool. I'm just checking out the website right now. Is there anything that you can tease us with of like things to expect in the future?
uh, Well, for me, I'm really excited about the idea of AI integrated as a developer tool onto the page itself, so
Hmm.
that like your product manager can like go and look at parts of the page and say, "Ooh, I want that, to be a bigger font or whatever," and like have a conversation with the page or do content work, yeah, on the page directly. And so we'll see. I can't say that that's going to happen, but I can say that that's probably going to happen. And it's going to work across like not just TanStack Start, but also like PHP, Python, whatever you have. Essentially just like a Claude embedded in the page itself, which I think is really cool.
That is very cool. All right. So moving
Are you getting tripped
on.
out by the whole like goofy, cool effects here on the sphere in the background, like the wavy
It's
stuff?
fun.
It
It's
is.
very fun to keep
It goes into
watching.
it goes into like a screensaver mode at night. My hotel room literally overlooks this thing, and I had to close the curtains, but I would, open up every once in a while and be like, I guess I can't sell ads at like, 3 a.m. or whatever, but they can, they have to keep it on. I don't know why.
I mean, they could.
Vegas never sleeps.
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
That
Okay.
the sphere looks. Have you ever seen it up close, right up next to it? It's
Mhm.
because it's kind of interesting. When you get close, you can see the individual lights. So you can't see the effect from afar, but it's kind of weird looking when you're up next to it.
It's hollow. I mean,
Mhm.
well, not all of it, obviously, but like the top portion of it, I would say maybe the top quarter of it is hollow. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right.
How long till you get TanStack ads on the sphere? Is that going
There
to
you go.
be?
I did see some geeky like service ads there. reInvent. I don't know if it's. I've never been to a conference this huge. I think there's like 17,000 attendees or something like that. It's spread across 3 different hotel resorts. The Venetian is the biggest
you
one in
well,
Las Vegas.
you should back up. There's probably people who don't know what reInvent is. You should give the
Okay,
quick
sure.
intro to what it is and why you're there.
So it's Amazon's AWS re::invent, and it's AWS's big you know releases of the year. They do a full keynote where they go over everything that they've been working on. They actually do a couple of those because it's too much for a single day. So they have multiples of those. And then they've got an amazing expo floor. This is, I think, the largest, like, I don't know, convention center space, I want to say, at least in Vegas. Maybe I don't know how it compares to the Vegas Convention Center, but whatever. It's huge. It's monster. It's like it's way too big to see kind of everything. You just kind of get a feel of the scale of it all. There's amazing, tons of tracks and all this sort of stuff. And I gotta say, I never thought I was a person who had like a phobia of crowds and stuff. But it's wow, it's a lot of people. It is, and I ended up like being in some lines that were like super thick, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm good. I think I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back upstairs and work on TanStack AI for a little while. We got to release that. So, that was my priority. I didn't see as much of it as I should have, but I did get a chance to talk to some really cool folks and have some great conversations.
Very cool. Well, we will look forward to your full report once you get back from it. But TJ, would you like to share your big news for this week?
We have a big acquisition to talk about this week because Anthropic acquired Bun, which is a pretty big deal. Just to set the stage for people, so Anthropic AI company, makers of Claude and Claude Code. Bun is the maker of, well, the Bun JavaScript toolkit. Bun does a little bit of everything. It's a runtime, it's a bundler, it's a package manager, it's a test runner, and it is an open source tool that Anthropic acquired. And a couple of things, both of them had pretty interesting blog posts. I'll make sure they're both linked to in the show notes if you want to read through them. the driving force behind this seems to be that Bun was a pretty important dependency of Claude Code. And Claude Code is now one of the fastest growing products of all time. In fact, one kind of almost throwaway line Anthropic threw in here is that Claude Code, 6 months out, it's been released for 6 months, has now reached $1 billion in run rate revenue, which is an absolutely
Insane.
astronomical number. And I think that helps when we talk about the potential of an AI bubble. It's like, man, $100 billion or $1 billion in revenue is a lot.
Yeah.
And that does give you a lot of cash to do things like buy a JavaScript. Buy Bun, buy a JavaScript thing that you're depending on pretty heavily. And so that's what they did. And so this went down this week. They cite a couple other things. So they said they're especially using it because they're a big fan of Bun's single file executables, because what it allows them to do is to have an executable that's not tied to Node, which is a pretty big deal because they found that a lot of companies have, if you're a company that has software that's distributed by like IT admins or such, having people with different Node environments and versions and everything can be kind of a complete nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't think that too much of that is developers, but you'd be amazed how many people get. I mean, sometimes I get confused by Node versions and everything. Yeah. So imagine, a common user. And Bun makes this quite simple. They just give you this one, so you can compile any JavaScript project into a self-contained binary. It runs anywhere, even if the user doesn't have Bun or Node installed. Fast startup, easy to distribute. Apparently, it's working really well for Claude Code, and they wanted to bring it in-house, and so that's what they did.
Yeah. I don't think anybody really saw this coming who was outside of Anthropic. It was a surprise to the whole ecosystem and industry in general, but it also makes sense. If that's what they're depending on, why not buy it if you can?
It's an interesting out for OSS projects. It's like become a primary dependency of some multi-gazillion dollar, corporation, and you get acqui-hired. Like, was this really an acquisition, or was it more like acquiring the team? I don't know. Probably a lot of both.
I think it's a little bit of all of the above.
Yeah.
They even said, when we've talked about Bun, because we've talked about Bun's releases, how they do a really good job putting out stuff, but we'd also talked about how they had brought in something like $21 million in funding and they'd made $0 in revenue and seemingly had no plans to make any revenue. Like I hadn't seen any great ideas. In fact, they've acknowledged in some of these blog posts that they didn't really. They talked about how they might eventually do some sort of cloud hosting product, because that's what these tools almost always end up doing. But there was no, there's nothing showing that this was coming imminently or that they had any plans, and yet they got no financial numbers were released here. But I have to imagine they got a good chunk of change from this transaction.
Yeah, I think Mr. Jared is independently wealthy now.
Got that Lambo money.
Yeah, no doubt. It's like we have been covering Bun. I remember maybe it was React Roundup days, but I remember when Bun first got its funding, and we were joking about how it got $7 million, and it was like we talked about in a couple different episodes, like, well, if they can get $7 million, who else can give you money? Because it's like, what do you do? Like, what's the out? Why are they giving you money? And what we kind of thought at the time was like, VCs just have a big pool of money, and it has to get activated, as they say. So sometimes you just throw it at the wall and see what sticks.
This was before the AI days, so they had to throw it at something. So everybody was throwing it at tooling and at Rust, and anybody who had a cute mascot and a semi-decent JavaScript runtime idea. So, but didn't we talk about at some point, like, Bun was making Oven, which was going to be their cloud platform or something like that?
Yeah,
Really?
they had some rough plans around that, but it was always very vague, and I don't remember any of it actually
I don't think it
existing. I
ever
mean,
came to
I could be
pass.
wrong about that, but
Yeah.
I
it was
must have
all
missed that
vaguely,
episode. I don't know. I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
The,
they had a whole set of puns and names for stuff that I don't think ever really came to fruition.
I feel
And
like
will not
though,
now.
Nope.
yeah, I feel if anything, this is going to be massive positive reinforcement for that. So I feel like we're only going to see more of it because the people who did invest in Bun presumably got a really good return out of it.
Hmm.
Maybe they have Anthropic equity now, which is very good equity to have at the
Yeah.
For sure.
moment. So I think if anything, we're going to see more of these types of endeavors being funded. I do think, though, this isn't completely out of the blue because Bun was always, it was well known for being really well engineered and really fast. Jared is a complete workaholic. If you look at his GitHub contribution graph, the dude is just always coding all the time. And in theory, this should get him back to what he likes doing because I didn't get the sense that Jared was the type of person that liked running a company and securing funding. I think the dude is happiest when he's just on a laptop getting to code something, and this should hopefully free him up to do that.
Yeah. The era of acquisitions though is definitely still on because I saw yesterday, which is not directly tied to our industry, but Adobe bought a company called SEMrush, which does, I think, marketing analytics and SEO stuff for websites. So that's kind of like a question mark of why did they buy that, but they have. And I also saw that Netflix just bought Warner Brothers Discovery's entire collection of movies and properties and the HBO brands. So HBO Go
Jesus.
is probably going to get renamed again. It'll be HBO Netflix or something.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
the
So,
Netflix one makes some sense though because
The
they
name's
have
last. Yeah.
having a back catalog for them makes a lot of sense because they could just dump it in their app. But
yeah,
you're right, acquisitions all the way down.
Yeah. Those HBO names last about as long as British prime ministers.
right. They couldn't figure out who they wanted to be, so they'll probably change it again in 6 months.
It's just so bonkers. Netflix buys Warner Brothers. Like
Yeah.
what?
That's
Oh my
nuts.
god. That's crazy.
I do have one last note on Bun, especially if you're a current Bun user. They have said that they are committed to leaving Bun open sourced. It will remain MIT licensed. The idea seems to be that they're going to continue to run the Bun open source project exactly as it was, but that team will also be presumably prioritizing the things that Claude Code and Anthropic needs. But the open source project is not going away, so should be good news for Bun users. And if anything, this I have to imagine this can only help the Bun ecosystem grow. This is a massive vote of confidence in the project, and so I have to imagine more people will be open to trying Bun and using Bun in their projects with this news.
Mhm.
And it's only going to help, I would say, Bun focus more on really being that run anywhere, very customer focused, execution engine, which I think is cool. I think that's
Yeah.
that's a great focus for folks.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
That's the
all
one-
the better, really.
The one downside of Bun doing everything is it does give them less focus, and you would think that, especially with this acquisition, focusing on that runtime bit, the part that they're helping Anthropic with, will probably be their focus moving forward. And I tend to agree that's probably a good thing because we've talked about some of the tangents they've went on. They've delved deep into the database world. They've been working on a bunch of that stuff. They've got this test runner. They've got a package manager. I mean, which cool and such, but trying to do everything can be very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of thinking about it now that they've got that, now they've been acquired, it's like, okay, so now Claude can just be like, oh, well, you need a script that goes and hits, MySQL, goes and grabs a bunch of data, blah 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 blah. Like that's just built into the VM, right? How much? That's just so much the easier for them. Like if they know what the execution target is, and it's always gonna be Bun, that's great.
Yeah.
Because I think what I'm seeing is, when I talk to a lot of these companies, they're really promoting having people inside the company who aren't in dev positions making tooling specific to the company. Like, oh, you've got
Yeah.
an HR person who wants to do stuff in the, recruiting space or something like that. They can go make themselves a little app that helps them out with that. And there's a huge, these companies really want this to happen. And
Mm-hmm.
so does that person care if, it's going to hit Oracle with, the Oracle adapter or the Bun adapter? They don't even care that it's running in Bun. They don't even care that it's TypeScript or JavaScript. They just, it's a thing that
No.
does a thing.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
They
they do
want their
want it to be.
scripts to work.
Yeah, exactly. They want it to be easy, though. They want it to be
yeah,
easy to install. They want it to be fast. And so if
Mm-hmm.
Bun helps deliver on that, that
yeah,
means this makes a whole lot of sense.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. Yeah, I get it now. I get it.
And they just got a super cute mascot to add to their collection. I love the Bun mascot. It's so cute.
It's
Yeah.
very good.
And now we know what's on the other side of the Bun mascot.
Yes. We'll share that. But TJ found this very cute picture on Twitter. It's the Bun mascot in all its happy glory on the front, and on the back there's a tiny Claude Code asterisk as its butthole. It's super cute. Oh. All right. Well, in less optimistic and exciting news, the NPM ecosystem continues to get just attacked, honestly. We talked in a couple of past episodes about the Shai-Hulul worm, which was aptly named because it is a self-replicating worm that was hacking the NPM ecosystem, attacking and getting into very popular packages, and just distributing malware that would steal people's credentials off of their computers and then send it to some unknown third-party endpoint so that they were essentially just giving away all their secrets. So that got shut down, we thought, a couple of months ago, and then it reappeared as 2.0 last week during Thanksgiving in the US and wreaked some more havoc. So it successfully infected almost 800 unique NPM packages, which totaled about 20 million weekly downloads. And it actually, funny enough, it falsely added Bun to a project, or at least that's what it looked like when you installed one of these malware-infected packages. But when it ran what it had named Bun environment.js, it was actually installing the malware locally on people's computers, stealing their credentials, and then self-propagating. Or if it couldn't self-propagate and kind of go out and replicate into other applications and other users' computers, it would actually try to destroy a user's home directory as the last resort. This thing was really bad.
A little vindictive. I
Yeah,
mean, come on, guys.
I
Like,
know.
what?
You've just stolen everything, and then you're going to try and destroy my computer at the end.
What?
Yeah, but
Oh,
yes,
that's sad.
that happened. It's been, again, identified. The bad packages have been taken off of NPM. So that was, bad thing number one that happened. And then the second thing that happened was that there was a critical vulnerability that was discovered in React server components applications.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anybody who is running a version of React that I think is React 19.0 or above, and using React server components as some part of their application is at risk. And basically what they found out, or what somebody discovered, was that there is an unauthenticated remote code execution that is available when React decodes payloads that are sent to React server functions endpoints. There's a whole write-up of it on the actual React docs. There's a write-up now on Next.js and Vercel as well. But even if your application doesn't necessarily use React server function endpoints, it may still be at risk if it supports RSCs at all. So just go upgrade. There's lots of patched versions now. They're out for Next, React Router, Expo, Wahoo, Vite, Redwood. Basically anybody who has some sort of support for it is patched it.
And the service vendors are also like pre-patching as well. I think Vercel did a pre-patch. I think other like vendors have done pre-patch, like Netlify, I think has a pre-patch. So they've trying to make sure ahead of the game that there's zero vulnerabilities. But man, rough one. I will say that Astro, TanStack, Star, those are not affected because they don't support RCs yet.
Yeah. So.
For the NPM one thing I'm doing more as I go is just relying on explicit NPM versions. I think we've talked about that before because I used to always use the wildcard to accept patch versions.
Right.
And considering how frequently this is happening, I'm kind of tamping down on that and just saying, you know what, I'm just putting in the one version that I'm testing with, and that's just going to be good enough. And periodically I'll go through, and when I need to update something just for basic maintenance or whatever, I can do that. But I don't know. It's getting to the point where I don't know if I can trust these random, who knows when some package you rely on is going to have some fraudulent version put out, and then you get sucked into this as well. Because I mean, these things have been patched fairly frequently. So usually by the time we are talking about this on the show, NPM is cleaned of anything that has occurred here. But you never know. I mean, you don't want to be the person that's in the wrong place at the wrong time and downloading one of these and apparently having your home directory potentially deleted.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, talk about a bad day.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, this is cruel.
Yeah, but, it does seem especially mean, like you say.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, like we all have joked over the years about like the size of the node modules directory, and it's because like, everything depends on everything else. So even though you trust this particular library, right? It's got its dependencies, and those dependencies have those dependencies, blah 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 blah, all the way down to the chain, down to is even and is odd. God only knows why those exist, but whatever. Anyway, it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the people that were affected by this were people that didn't even realize they were using some of these packages. And I couldn't tell you off the top of my head whether we are either, because nobody knows. And if you're working on a sufficiently complex app, nobody has any idea what the dependencies of your dependencies are. It's a complete chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you find out that you actually literally are depend on unicorn magic. There's actually a package, Unicorn Magic, and it's the one, like, for whatever reason, it's the one that always blows up for me if I have server code that's installed on the client or leaked onto the client by accident. And oh my God, I hate the freaking Unicorn Magic freaking. I hate it. And it's just like a grab bag of stupid, like stupid stuff.
I just opened up the node modules of the biggest app that I work on. And oh my God, so there's one here called Dash Dash. That's just like the word dash twice in a row, no space, no nothing. I don't know what Dash Dash does. I don't know why it's in here, but here it is. I've got 6 packages that have decompress in the title. Why? I don't know what I'm decompressing.
Right. No JIP is the one that always gets me. It always is out of date and out of sync, and it always blows up when I'm trying to install like an existing application on a new computer or something.
Oh my God. I got down to I. So I've got is alphabetical, is alphanumerical, is arguments, is like, is map, is number. I don't know how these get in here.
What? No, don't bring in an entire library when you can just have like the easiest regex imaginable. Like just get your cursor to that's even like you don't even have to do like the prompt stuff. You just say, hey, is this alphabetical? And it'll just be like, boop, there's your regex. Don't need a library for that.
The thing is though, I consider myself a person who tries to avoid dependencies on the projects I work on. And even I can't avoid this. It's just, this is just inevitability in the JavaScript world. And so
you use a framework, you're bringing in all sorts of weird stuff that you had no say in, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. So everybody just check your versions, update and patch if you're using React server components, or at least double check if you need to. Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to not get hacked, it seems.
Stay vigilant. Listen to Front End Fire when we see news like this.
Exactly.
We will pass it along.
Well, I think that wraps up the main news section. Does anybody have any lightning news they want to talk about?
Actually, no, not this week.
Yeah, not this week.
It's a weird week.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's only big news this week.
Only big news. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, well then let's talk about what's making us happy.
Let's do it.
TJ, what's making you happy this week?
Well, for the second week in a row, Dungeon Crawler Carl is making me happy. And I have to start with a correction that I got from our Discord, because Richard pointed out to me that I had said last episode that there were going to be 8 books in the series. And it turns out that is not true. So the 8th book is being written right now, but that is not the last book. And so apparently there's an unknown number, probably somewhere closer to 10 or 12 in this series, which is, a little bit disappointing because it means this series will probably be going on for quite a while. But man, these books are so good. I'm just plowing through them. I'm almost done with the 4th book in the series, and I've already got the fifth one ready to go. My son is 2 books through. He's already.
I love it when that happens.
That's great.
They get the whole family into it. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, he's catching up to me because he has a little bit more free time than I do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So he's making some progress. My wife just got the audiobooks, which I've heard the audiobooks are quite good. So she plans to get to them at some point. So I mean, it's just an awesome series. If you didn't hear my explanation last episode, I mean, the premise is dude in a dungeon. The dungeon has so many floors. It's very video game style, but like a video game in real life. And so if you're any sort of RPG fan, Dungeons and Dragons, or just RPG video games, you'll absolutely love it. It's really well written. It's addicting. It's the type that you can't put it down because something crazy is always happening. And
yes, exactly.
I'm just having a blast with it.
Awesome.
Very nice. Yeah, I was talking to my husband about it after you told me about it, and he I think maybe had heard of it, but he hadn't tried it. So it's going to be on the list for us as well.
At least for now too, it's fairly cheap. Because my wife has Kindle Unlimited and all the books are on there. And the audiobooks through that were only like $5 each through Kindle Unlimited as well. So at least for now, they're not that expensive. I have a feeling this is the type of series, though, that might get more popular as it goes. So
very cool.
Yeah, and if something's $5 in this world, you got to go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in Vegas right now, and it's like, I swear to you, a freaking latte is like $9. That's like 2 Dungeon Crawler Carls.
Right.
Am I going to get a Dungeon Crawler Carls worth of enjoyment out of this? I am not.
No,
I am not.
It's probably just an average drink too.
It's not even. It's not even that good. It's, yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Like, you get these. I was brought here because the AWS folks were like, oh, we want some influencers, and we want to talk to them. And so I was comped, rooms comped, all that stuff. And so I get my lanyard, and then I talk to the lady who's doing the influencer like management stuff, I guess. And she gives me these buffs, and these like extra places. It mean that I can go to different places because they have all the restaurants bought out and everything. So in those restaurants, I can get stuff for free. So I've basically been eating hors d'oeuvres like the entire week. But if I can wait in line at the cafe place at one of the places that I can get access to, it's so much better and it's free. And it's like, it's just lines. It's just lines. It's crazy long, just lines. Yeah.
You probably need to reach the next VIP level where you can actually just go to they let you straight to the front of the line. That's
There you go.
There you go.
Lightning pass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Well, in that regard, what is making you happy this week, Jack?
I was trying to know a book called Essentialism. So, and it's cool. The idea is that you are getting back to, kind of getting rid of all the extra fluff in your life that just distracting you from stuff. And I
Mhm.
mean, there's just so much of it that we have to deal with nowadays. Like everything in life wants your attention, and it's a real skill to be able to
Mhm.
just be like, you know what, I don't want to do that. Nope, I don't want to go on to Twitter and doom scroll for 2 hours. That's not going to help me. That's not going to get me to where I want to be. And pare down what you do want to do, and specifically say what you don't want to do. That's a learned skill, and I think getting back into that is a good thing,
Mhm.
at least for me.
Yeah, I remember I read that book not too long ago, and I might have recommended it on the show, but it is very much that we're in such a state now that everything is constantly vying for our attention. It's our email, it's our phones, it's notifications, it's everything. So yeah, being able to focus and just say I'm not going to do that thing, or I'm not going to engage with this, or I'm actually just going to, delete it off my phone or put it down in another room or whatever. It's a lot harder than you think until you try to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I go in waves with that, where there are
Mhm.
times where I feel
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
I'm doing quite well, and then there's times because life gets busy for one reason or another, and I find I need to slow down when I get to those days where it's the end of the day and I feel super busy, but then I look back and I don't feel like I've actually done anything, which
Mhm.
is the worst feeling because you're just
Yeah.
exhausted, but you're like, what did I actually do that had value today?
Yeah.
And you really have struggled. If you struggle to articulate that, that's when,
That's a problem.
rethinking things, reading a book
Yeah.
like this
Reevaluate.
can really help.
Yeah.
Mhm. Very good. So my pick for this week is what's making me happy is something that my parents introduced me to actually when we were visiting them for the Thanksgiving holiday last week, and it is a TV series called The Durrells that came out. I think it was on Masterpiece Theater in the US, so it's one of the British shows that was transplanted over here by PBS. But it is so enjoyable because it's about a family they start off in England in the 1930s and they end up moving to the island of Corfu in Greece in the middle of the 1930s. And so it's
Hmm.
them kind of reestablishing themselves over there and meeting the local townspeople and making friends and just living this completely different off the grid sort of life because Corfu was very, very rustic at that point. I don't think their house didn't have electricity or running water where they ended up, but they're right by the seaside and it's beautiful. And just the whole story, I think, is actually based on a true story. Like one of the sons who moved over with the family ended up writing these books, which the series is then based on, which was about their time living there. And it's just it's everything. And it's so enjoyable to watch. It's very funny and interesting. And it also makes me kind of wish that it was a simpler time like they had when I'm
Mm.
watching it sometimes. Because one kid is super into the outdoors. So he's always out of the house studying the local fauna and flora and animals. And another kid is very much into writing. So he's got his typewriter that he's carrying everywhere with him and he's writing stories and trying to get published. And it's just so interesting how you could really be what you wanted to be back then. And it didn't matter how much money you were making. It was just enough for you to put food on the table and, do
Yeah.
what you wanted to do, which sounds really cool, actually.
Sounds like a good time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, now the dream is you're writing up your own JavaScript runtime and hoping
exactly. And hoping to get acquired by a bigger
yeah,
company. Yep.
just doesn't have the same vibes to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
ability that people seemed to have back then to just pick up and go places. Like, you just hop on a boat with some people that you met last week who are sailing on to some other part of Europe, and you're just like, yeah, I'll go along with you. I don't have anything else better to do at the moment.
Yeah. I always think like all the people that emigrated to the US around that time, which includes my great grandparents on both sides of my family, just the crazy change that would have been, just especially at that time. Like nowadays, you move to the other side of the world. Well, you can take a plane back every so often to visit. You can instant message people on the other side of the world instantaneously. Back then, it was like, it's a one-way trip. You're just going into some unknown place, and that's just what you're going to do. And the enormity of that just kind of blows my modern brain a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. There's no pre-planning that you do. You know, you write letters maybe to people back home, but that's it. You just kind of show up and then start figuring it out once you're there.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. People plan more for a trip to Disney, you know?
Oh, God.
Like which rides they're going to do and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Hell, that's stressful for me.
Right?
Right?
Yeah. It's
Gotta book everything in advance.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, man.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
What a world we live in. You know, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yeah. Then you also think back and it's like, oh, well, if you got any sort of mild disease, you were probably just dead.
Probably
Life
dead.
expectancy was like 40s.
Yeah.
There's, you know, this wasn't all great, but
I tripped and skinned my knee. Oh, okay. I guess you don't need that leg. You know, just amputate that. You know, cholera. You know, yeah.
Pros and cons.
It's the little things. You know, you only had to have like 15 kids, so you could have like 3 that would make it through the generations.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're looking for something that's kind of a blast from the past, but also very, very unique way of living, I would definitely say this is worth it. And I think you can get it if you have a Masterpiece subscription, or it might also be available on Amazon. It's one of the, you know, it's available. It's around.
Or it's on Netflix with their Paramount or
Probably
Warner Brothers or
one of those.
I mean, I guess it's like we've all been talking about the content consolidation that's inevitably coming, and I guess this is that. I just didn't think Netflix was doing as well as that. Yeah. Okay.
Cable is reforming.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know that a couple of us are at least partial F1 watchers, and apparently Apple just bought the rights from YouTube for F1 in the US, or ESPN, I guess.
From ESPN, yeah.
Yeah. We watch it through YouTube TV, which has ESPN as part of the subscription. But yeah, Apple just bought it. So next year, Apple TV will have all the F1 races in the US.
Yep. Yet another subscription if you don't already have that one.
Yeah.
And I know it's just me, but like sumo has had a really fun year this year. And one of the interesting things is like Ukrainians have become a huge force in Japanese sumo. And now we've got our first Ukrainian to ever get to the level of Ozeki, which is very high up in the ranks. And he could be a first action, like probably non-Japanese Yokozuna, meaning somebody that I like actually be like the I guess face of the sport, you know, the top level. You know, like, yeah, it could be cool. He's incredibly talented guy. Yeah. Aonishiki. Yeah. Anyway,
nice.
Whatever.
It's a cool name too.
It is a cool name.
All the Japanese names are great, but I'm sure that's not his Ukrainian name. But he speaks basically fluent Japanese. Like when they interview him, it's in Japanese. You can hardly hear it. Like they just kind of mumble the Japanese, but like whatever, it's all good. And whenever they get off they have like a great thing where they like take down the Yokozuna or something like that, and they're all like, yes, I was just practicing. I was just been doing a lot of training lately, and that's been good. And it's nothing like American like NBA or wrestling stuff where it's like they're trash talking or anything. It's just totally like very humble. You know,
yeah, that's very Japanese.
So happy to have done this.
Such a different culture.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So I guess that's going to wrap up this episode of Front End Fire. Thank you to everybody who's been listening. If you want to hang out with us, come chat in our Discord. We have some really interesting conversations in there. And then we're on YouTube and Twitter and X, Blue Sky, all those good things. So
all those good things.
And thanks, as always, to our sponsor, the Blue Collar Coder channel on YouTube. Check it out if you want to learn some new stuff from Jack. He's always posting good things up there.
Got a lot to say about TanStack AI coming up here pretty soon. A lot of
ready.
A lot of videos on it coming out.
Well, thanks again for listening. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Yep. See ya.